Hello everybody, Oliver G here for the Earful Tower podcast. This is a short episode, just me, by myself, talking about a few things.
Not quite.
Right, okay, full disclosure, I started recording this episode by myself. Lena sitting in the background goes, bit mopey.
I did, it's true. But you lovely listeners, I think you will thank me because you were a bit mopey, so
I know.
I pulled the plug.
It's been a long day.
Yes.
But so Lena volunteered to be there as sort of the...
I'm like a soundboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like the Robin to Howard Stern or Batman.
Exactly.
Right.
That was my joke.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
why you're
God.
here.
Okay.
So this idea is just pulling back the curtains, 5 things sort of behind the scenes in the Earful Tower world as a kind of an in-between episode. There's some exciting things happening that have happened and that are going to happen, and I wanted to share them with you. So let's get into it with some music first. Something to look forward to this week is there's a TV channel here in France, a news channel called France 24, aka France 24.
Oui.
Oui. They do the news, they do culture, and always been wondering when I'd get the call.
And here we go.
Knock, knock, knock. They say, although having said that, once again during COVID, we did do something with France 24. Clovis Kezeli,
Oh, yeah.
a roving reporter, came out to our house
That's
to talk to
right.
us about doing the pub quiz that
Oh
we
my
used to
God,
do.
I forgot about that.
Do you want to know a little
Wow.
behind the scenes?
We should dig out the archives.
Well, something that's quite embarrassing about that when it happened is Clovis came around. We hadn't even seen a human for a while, actually, at that point.
We're like, ooh, you're real. Can I touch your face?
He goes, don't touch.
Yeah,
No,
that's weird. I
He had to
didn't
get tested after. But he said, he goes, should we do it in French first? And then we do it in English. I was like, yeah, no worries. And we started doing it in French. And after about 30 seconds, he
He's like,
just
don't
sort of...
worry about it.
he just sort of looked away from the camera and gave me this look as if to say...
Bit mopey.
He said, let's just do it in English with some French subtitles for the French
Oh,
people.
no.
I like to think I've improved since then. I probably have, but that's not what happened. They contacted me because Flo and Jeannie, who do France Connections, which is like a culture part of that channel,
Yeah.
they're doing a visit to every arrondissement of Paris, and they contacted me and said, Oliver, what district would you like to showcase? And I said,
The 4th.
yeah, exactly.
Well, of course.
The 4th is the one that won our countdown when we visited every arrondissement. I've always wanted to revisit
You got the
that.
luxury of choosing.
I know, I almost did the 7th.
The 7th.
but
Yeah,
I
because
thought-
of the monuments. The ye old tower.
And our old
Yeah.
stomping grounds as well.
Yeah.
But I did the...
I think you chose well.
and the idea was that they said pick 3 places that you want to sort of highlight.
Yeah.
And they said we're going to record about 6 minutes worth of stuff. And I was like, 6 minutes? Now, over the Olympics especially, I did a lot of TV for lots of big channels.
Yeah.
And usually they use 6 seconds,
Yeah.
which is it's easy because you know that, like, with
They just
NBC...
need like a little quote.
Yeah, they want you to go, and here is Paris,
Yeah.
ready for the Olympics. That's all they use. So you learn all these stats and stuff, they don't use it.
Yeah.
In this case, 6 minutes, I was like, okay, here we go. And I chose the Place des Vosges. Got to have the Place des Vosges in there.
Of course.
I chose the Hôtel de Sully, which I go through on my Marais walking tour. And then I chose the Philippe Auguste Wall.
Oh, yes.
Quelle surprise.
Exactly.
And we went and recorded, and I said to him, like, they had 2 people filming, and they had Jeannie and Flo, who were the hosts. And I think I said to them about 8 times, you guys are so organized and so professional.
I wonder if that says more about them or about you.
You calling me mopey?
Not one more time.
I think because all these years I've been doing the Earful Tower, I generally do one take and let's get out of here. Whether that's live or it's the podcast or whatever.
Sure.
But even with the big channels, it's I don't know, they can seem a bit all over the place, some of the ones that I've done, to be honest. But these guys were so really, had a whole script that they'd printed out for each of us with things highlighted.
Like you put your left foot here, sort of
Pretty
thing.
much, yeah. You know what they told me off? Anyway, the point is, this is coming out on Thursday on their big channel, watched by who knows how many million, and then put out on their YouTube channel. So I'll be able to link it to everybody. But they said it came out really well. But what you said, like they had to, for example, in the beginning, they had to reposition us because I gesticulated too wildly with my hands. And I was interrupting the shot. These kind of
fly swatter.
Yeah, and they did it. The things I'd never thought about. They're like, okay, we walk the continuation. Like you were in the middle here. Now we're going to walk off. You have to be on the other side. They film us coming somewhere, going somewhere. Film it again. Film it again.
That's generally what, like, one of my favorite things when you watch TV shows, especially these, like, you know, they show architecture or something, or like show around cityscape something, and they just like walk in different directions, or sometimes they just like walk into a wall.
You know, what do
and
you mean,
it doesn't
walk
make
off?
sense, like when they walk off into the.
Well, there's so much to think about because I'm sure they won't mind me saying, but we filmed it out of order. The magic of TV. So we had to walk to the, if you think about the videos I do that are live, doesn't matter. There's no such thing as continuity.
No, because it continues naturally.
And they said, like, they pulled me up because sometimes I said, and here we are, the wall, the final stop. And they're like, no, you can't say that because we might edit it a different way. So there's so much, you know what the funniest thing that happened is there's this 2 camera crew. And one point, and you ignore the camera, right? I mean, I realize some people listening have probably done way more. I know that there are some actors, several actors, who listen to this show. I met one of them last week, actually.
Really?
Yes. I'm not going to name names.
Oh.
Craig.
Oh.
But what was I saying? Yeah, some people are used to this world. Not me, really, even though it's my profession as well. So maybe it's interesting for people to get a glimpse behind the curtain, but golly gosh, there was one moment that I wonder if they'll use it. You're not meant to look at the camera, right? They're filming me talking about the wall.
The 4th wall? No, the 5th wall?
Yes,
hang on, what are we talking about? Which wall am I talking about?
That's funny, because I'm breaking the 4th wall, I guess. But I'm talking about the Philippe Auguste wall from the 1200s, and the camera guy, because you're not allowed to look at him, right? But out the corner of my eye, I see he goes down and he's laying down next to us. I was like, is he okay? But I kind of got the sense he just wanted to film up to show the wall behind us. But it's like, dude, you got to tell me if he's going to lay down next to us while I'm meant to be talking about ancient history.
You're not allowed to look. No. Is he like sneaking little glances?
He could have had a heart attack and I'm just ignoring him. We're all ignoring him.
You're just like, back at Philip again.
Yes. And what I like about this wall.
It's like, help.
The other cool thing that I hope everybody will see when they watch it is what's cool about having a camera crew with permission to film, which I never get either, is when we're filming in the Hôtel de Sully, which is this 400-year-old aristocratic mansion just off Rue Saint-Antoine maybe, is they're out there sort of chaperoning us around, the people that work there. And the camera guy goes, it might be nice if we can get up on that sort of exposed ceiling banister, roof banister kind of thing at the entrance. And I'm like, yeah, good luck there. And the guy goes, yeah, we'll make that happen. And then all of a sudden we open some door, go up these red carpet staircase, and we're up on the banister looking over the Hôtel de Sully. And that's probably the opening shot of this piece, is us standing up 1 floor up, looking down into the courtyard.
Wow.
I got shouted at by why didn't tell you this, I think.
What?
They were watching us filming, and I'm just casually leaning against this 400-year-old banister. The guy's like, don't lean! And I was like, oh.
Sorry.
So, number 3 of these things that are coming up is this week. I want to put a pretty quick shout out to say that I'm going to New York City. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of it, but it was meant to be a big trip with, I think, 6 people, and they pulled out one after the other for various reasons. Some serious, some very unserious.
What does that say about you? You're the
It's just something about me.
last man standing.
I was the last man standing, and we'd organized so many things to make this trip possible that it seemed crazy to leave it. So I just said, I'll go by myself then.
Yes. You're like, fine.
With your blessing / encouragement, I should add.
Oh, for sure. Yes. No, I think this is it's a great thing.
There's been people on
That sounds sarcastic. I mean it, people.
She doesn't mean...
No, I do.
Oh, you do.
I do.
And Saturday, 29th of March will be a low-key meetup where, I'm not sure, you have to follow on social media. I'll talk about it. If you're in New York or nearby, come and say hello. It'd be great for me to meet. I don't have anyone else to hang out with either.
Please go and see him.
Yeah, but it's been great having all these comments on Substack, on the newsletter, on everything from people giving me recommendations. And it occurs to me, I'm kind of debating whether to do a France / Paris in New York.
I think that's a great idea, like French influence,
Well, to
like
explore-
Statue of Liberty, maybe a bit of history.
It's the age-old question is, I often find myself buying books about Paris and France because it's my job and it's my interest, but I do also like other things. So the risk is, you know what the risk is? If I go to New York, I just go and see French patisseries and the Statue of Liberty because it's French, and then don't do the New York things.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit lost about what to do there, but I can do both. Somewhere in the middle is probably the right answer. Which leads nicely into the next one, because we had a little chat about this, and I don't know if it's going to happen. But just to be really clear, 29th, Saturday, March, meet up somewhere in Manhattan. I don't know where. If you've got a really good suggestion, tell me, and I'll just say yes. Because
I think the Bemelman Bar.
I don't think you can take lots of people in there. Lots. How many people? I assume it'll be 8 people. I don't think you could take 8 in there.
Really?
I don't know. It gives me the vibe of
I don't know.
like the Ritz bar in Paris. You wouldn't want to rock up with 8 people.
That's true.
Low key.
Loki. Who's Loki?
He's some god or something. I don't know. But it leads nicely into the fourth thing, which is something exciting that's coming up that might tie unexpectedly into New York, and that's that in May, so roughly a month from when we're putting this episode out, I will be launching as a side project the Earful Everywhere podcast.
Yay!
Huge Paris fans need not worry, because the Earful Tower is staying exactly as it is with an episode.
This is just a sweet, sweet add-on.
A sweet, sweet side project.
Exactly.
So if I remember when I first talked about doing other podcasts, people got worked up and they said, Paris is where you belong. Don't talk about anything else. Stay in your lane. And that's fine. Paris is staying exactly the same. But a couple of years ago, I did the Earful Sweden just for fun.
Right, yeah.
And then when I started planning the next season, I thought I could use that channel that I already made. So I changed the name from Earful Sweden to the Earful Everywhere. And the idea is can visit different places outside of France, just to tickle my curiosity and meet new people.
It's great. Stay fresh.
You know where that season's going to be?
Well,
You know.
I don't know. I know, but I can only say that you landed yourself a sweet little sponsor as well.
A sweet little sponsor who are making the whole thing happen.
And you have some very exciting things lined up. I think this is going to be great.
They're very family friendly. They're sending us essentially there and putting us up in the center of a famous city.
Yeah.
From a famous country.
Yes, yeah.
Have your guesses? I'll reveal it very soon. But Lena and I were talking about the idea to ramp up. If nothing else, go and follow the Earful Everywhere on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you're listening to this. Just go press follow, or on Instagram, where I've got it as well, the Earful Everywhere. But it occurs to us both as a way to sort of bump it up and get it a little bit exciting, is to put an episode or 2 about New York.
Yes, do it.
It's adding work to a fun trip, though.
Well, I mean, how much fun do you need?
Well, I don't want to go around interviewing people in New York, so if we do it...
Work is fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So is fun. But the idea of doing, I don't know, maybe my thoughts or recaps, rather than going around interviewing people about how the Statue of Liberty was
Sort of
built.
like writing a letter home.
Yeah, like an audio letter.
I love it.
Do you want them?
Yes, please. Letters to my wife.
That actually would work.
I love it.
Okay, that could be an idea. before I
It's a deal.
before I hit the proverbial hay in New York, I could recount what I found and what I thought of it, and instead of send it to you, put it out as a little episode.
Send it to everyone.
I'll think about it. Encourage me, folks, and I'll do it.
It's cute.
Okay, that's cool.
Yes.
That is 4 things. Leads us to the 5th thing, which is the season finale next week of this season, which has run its natural course. A huge thank you to the sponsor, My Private Paris, which they pulled out the plugs for a fun episode next week. And I think when you hear what number 5 is on this current podcast episode, you'll be able to guess exactly what's happening next week. And the good news is I brought Harry, the
videographer?
No, that is what he is, but I was trying to think of the verb that means good at walking backwards.
Oh.
The talented
like the
backwards
moonwalker.
moonwalking Harry. Yes. We're referring to, he's filmed us walking around in Paris before and he walks backwards and doesn't seem to hit anything. It's amazing.
Nice.
But number 5,
force.
the number 5 thing is season finale next week, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Bertrand and Marie to talk about what they consider to be a very special way to see the City of Light. And we recorded it at the end of recording the season finale. So over to them, My Private Paris. They do tours of Paris and beyond. They've sponsored this whole season. If you're looking at getting out and doing something cool while you're in Paris, do it with them. Lena, thanks for bringing me out of my mope.
That's what I do best.
And good luck being in Paris this week with your family, I should add.
And 2 little kiddos.
While I gallivant around in New York, trying to bring 8 people into Bemelmans. Let me know if you want to meet up on that Saturday. And here comes My Private Paris. And here we sit. If you can hear a sort of rumbling sound in the background, it's because we're not in the podcast studio. No. Bertrand and Marie are with me on a boat. Hello, guys. How you doing?
Hello.
Salut.
The reason we're on a boat will all become clear in 1 week's time for the grand season finale, but we've got a chance now to talk about why Paris is perhaps best enjoyed from the water. Who would like to answer first?
Marie?
Yes, I mean, obviously, yes. We're on a boat. We wanted to show you how it feels to be discovering Paris for the first time from this point of view, from the river time. And you will see that next week, right? How beautiful it is.
What is it especially about the angle from underneath that works so well? What's the deal here?
The thing is that most of the great landmarks were built by the riverside because it was the way to, like a big avenue where you have your tops. Notre Dame is by the river, the Musée d'Orsay is by the river, the Louvre is by the river, the Eiffel Tower is by the river. Actually, the river banks of Paris are labeled as World Heritage by the UNESCO. So there's been a lot of effort, architecturally speaking, put on the building facing the river. So that's why it is very different to do a river cruise anywhere, but in Paris, it's because here you are at the center of the show on the riverside.
And funny that you mentioned those 4 places because I think we're going to be focusing on them for next week's episode. But in terms of what you guys offer, when you have people coming to Paris and someone says, guys, I want the Seine, what are you offering them?
I will go with an evening experience, probably a dinner cruise, because it's a good way to relax, to chill, but also to have, really everything on site. And if they prefer during the day, then it's going to be champagne and a little board of cheese. Yeah.
And for the first time, it's not the first time. So the second time on this show, we're sitting here with a glass of champagne in our hand. Bertrand, guilty. You and I, as charged, we've been in.
Yes, I'm guilty that we did only 2 times.
That's true. That's the real guilty part. But the idea being Paris is definitely worth seeing from the water. I've just experienced it now, and next week's episode will be recorded on the water. It'll be a YouTube video as well, so people at home listening, remember you can watch it on YouTube as well and really take in the sights. And if you're thinking of booking some kind of water experience when you're in Paris next, look up My Private Paris in the show notes below, and you can book one of their tours that include a Seine cruise. I can highly recommend it. That'll do for me for now. Merci Bertrand and Marie.
Merci.
And next week I'll see you. Well, I'm seeing you now, but next week everyone will see us on this amazing experience on the Seine River. Until then, au revoir.
Au revoir.
Wow.